What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show on the internet. We watch the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with the Hydra Simp himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
I'll take Hydra Simp. That's okay. That's better than a lot of the stuff you've called me.
Innit? That's the least of the more stuff I've called you. Woo! That's what I'm- How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I forgot where it comes, but this is not my least favorite episode.
Aha!
My least favorite episode.
Is it because of all the boobs in it?
Do you know what? One of the things I actually appreciate about The Witcher is, although we do see a fair amount of boobage, it's not like gratuitous. They're just sort of out, and no one really pays a huge amount of attention to them.
And no one's masturbating to this shit. It's not supposed to be like, oh,
right. They're just there.
This is it.
And like Yen's thing when she's doing the djinn, like that isn't sexy. She's a good looking woman. She happens to be topless. Like it's not one of those things that's gonna have you have an awkward conversation with your girlfriend after. Like I watched it with my girlfriend. I don't even think we like noticed. Like but it's not like a feature of it, and I appreciate that because again, I'm watching this on Netflix. I have access to the internet. Yeah. If I want to see boobies, it's literally BOOBIES, a 7-letter search away, right? I can do that. I want to see The Witcher fight stuff and monsters and stuff. That's what I'm here for. Anyway, I like this episode. I like all the stuff with Yen. The Last Wish is one of the better books. It's the best mission and one of the best missions in The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I freaking hate the dragon episode. We're going to get there sometime soon. I can't stand that episode.
It's the best episode out there. What are you talking about?
I hate you and it. But this one was good, and I loved actually getting to see the thing that we're really interested in, which is Geralt's relationships.
Yeah.
And his relationship with... I'm calling him Dandelion. His Dandelion. His relationship with Yen, like, begin. It's good, and also the mayor and his douchebag, the bald guy, so satisfying to watch them get messed up. Yeah. There's something about they're just so perfectly hateable. And this Doppler dude's a cracking villain. Right?
My God.
Terrifying. That is exactly what the parents of the people in The Witcher tell their kids Dopplers are.
Yeah.
And that's why people slaughter them.
Yes.
You know, it's nightmare fuel.
Absolute nightmare fuel.
This is a good episode.
I did really like this episode as well.
How are you, by the way?
Mate, do you know what? I'm doing great because this week I did get my copy of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
You did.
We did release the Snyder Cut.
You and me together. No one else helped. Just us.
Exactly, just us.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying the hell out of that. It's been... I was pretty much... I was like, yes, I get to watch this back to back in beautiful 4K. Oh, I have to watch The Witcher. All right, no problem. No, but I enjoyed this episode as well. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Because as you said, the djinn whole story arc and stuff like that is so cool in the game. I've only ever played the game in this and whatnot. And I was like, this is gonna be awesome.
It is cool. And there's also some great lines as well where like
and the bathtub scene, Jesus Christ. Bro.
The bathtub scene, yeah, exactly. Look, anybody tell me if you had Henry Cavill in your house, you wouldn't try and get him in the bath.
No.
Exactly. But there's some great lines as well. Like Yennefer is an incredibly powerful and potent. Like she counters a djinn.
Yeah. Right,
something that grants wishes. It takes her more time, but that's the power level we're on, right?
Yeah.
And Geralt says some things. He kind of says, "This is the way things work," and she's like, "Don't tell me the way things work."
She's very defensive.
Not just a defensive, but she also attacks him. She's like, I'm an incredibly powerful, not old because she's not. She is old. They're long lived, right? These witches, they take some hundreds of years to get old. Like she's incredibly powerful. She's incredibly experienced. But this is the one thing Geralt knows about, and he's an expert in this one particular area. And then he says, "Look, the djinn's not going to cause any problems." And she goes, "It's a malicious blah blah. How can you say that?" It's like, when was the last time you felt good when you were trapped?
Yeah.
And it's like,
shit. It's a good point. Good point.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a great episode. I actually really enjoyed this one.
I enjoyed it too. Shall we get into this episode?
Let's get into it. Before we start, our content across both of our channels and here on the flagship show of the FPN is made possible, powered by the incredible Super Bros over on patreon.com/conversations. I got the dab in despite the arm. Who do we have to thank?
We have Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Comsort, Geralt of Rivia, aka Casper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan the Man, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H. Barts 12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fryer, who is a defective clone of Eddie. It's
Very
just
defective.
so terrible.
Awful.
Send it back.
I don't know how that passed QC.
Mate, I don't know how it happened. The Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Raj Vandalin. He's got a plan, guys. He's got a pan as well.
Yeah.
He's got a plan, guys.
And a pan. If you just want breakfast, you just gotta wait 5 more minutes.
That's how we're doing it there. The Filthy FIFA Fanatic, Joe McCormack, My Juicy Left Nut, and Kevin, the #1 simp of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the streaming services going here at Streamcast. Thank you so much. If you ever want to support any of our stuff, all the links in the description to all of our channels and our Patreon. Go and support us over there. Leave a like on the video and a comment. That's also really cool. Okay.
Yep.
The episode begins with us in a room with some crows.
Yeah, like...
Very scary, sort of like eerie looking place.
It's weird, isn't it?
Very dark.
It's funny you said eerie.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking ear.
Exactly.
In a jar.
We cross it. Some guy walks in. He's holding a blood-soaked rag, and he pulls out a piece of someone.
It's something skinny.
I was like, I'm trying to identify. I'm like, is that like a shoulder or something?
I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, well, it's a lump. It's definitely not an ear. A shoulder wouldn't look like that.
Yeah.
Is it like a? I don't.
couldn't figure it out.
It's creepy.
If there's anyone out there who figured it out, let us know because we need to know.
Yeah, that guy's probably got one of them in a jar in their own home.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's just this one. No, I got it.
Yeah.
He puts
Hey, do you want to see the rest of my collection?
And he puts it in a collection of other body parts, and there's like an ear on the side. There's bits and pieces. It's very strange because the guy's got this like smile on his face, and then he walks over to the mirror and proceeds to check himself out.
Yeah, he starts like really admiring his body. That's one of the things that's super creepy about it, and I think they do this for serial killers. Is they make them do like these really. He's quite a muscular dude.
Yeah.
And they make him move in these like really feminine ways. It's very out of place for his physique. And he's like admiring himself in a very. I think this is what makes this Doppler so interesting, is because in terms of humans, it's gender neutral. It is a Doppler that is in a male body, so it's just having a look at a male body that it likes the look of.
Yeah.
Because it's an it in a dude.
Yeah.
And so it's admiring the body. It's very strange. It's
weird.
very out of place, which is part of why he's it's so creepy.
Yeah.
Is the Doppler named?
I don't remember.
I don't think he is. And then we see someone come in from the room.
Yes. And it's our guy.
It's Mr. No
Squirrel
Goods.
guy.
Yeah. What is it with him and his hair gel and like gelling it back like he's just got out of a swimming pool?
I have to imagine he wants to try and get rid of Helmet Head. He wants to try and get rid of that because every time before he'd have this nice like little perm thing going on. They put the helmet on. It's like, it's all ruined.
Talking of Helmet Head, that probably makes a lot of sense for the way his armor looks like a ball sack.
He has to be the head of all the ball sack.
It did not get better in the next. Basically, he comes in and he's like, I know exactly what you are. You're some serial killing Doppler. I need you to do a hit. And the guy's like, okay, I agree. Then we come outside and he's there changed into his armor because he wasn't in his armor in the attic.
No, he put on the armor.
Yeah, and it still looks awful. Oh my god, does it look awful? It looks atrocious. The worst thing. It's the worst thing in the show, and there's a lot of things that are meh about the show.
We're gonna. So I'm just pretending to be the guys on the show. I'm like the armor.
Yeah.
Come and have a look at this.
You know, it's funny because we were brainstorming this. I've been pitching some ideas. Do you think full plate?
My ball sack.
Also, those are your testicles.
Those are my testicles. I want it to look like this.
We can do that.
All wrinkles. Should we make it hairy as well?
Yeah. Oh, do you want us to when you bat wing it? No. I want the wrinkles.
Like that.
Like it's so weird. It doesn't look good. And like you say, Fringilla leads like a It does look very clearly like a prisoner. A jail cart. It's much heavier. There's trains everywhere. It doesn't look like it's comfy. And she comes into the court where he is with that Doppler guy.
Yeah.
And they kick Mousetrap or whatever the guy's name is.
I think his name is Mouse Sack.
Mouse sack.
I think it's actually mouse sack. But I wrote down mouse crack for a long time.
I've got mouse trap.
And then afterwards, I was like, oh yes, mouse sack. Sorry, my bad. Let me just. And I didn't go back and change it. So mouse crack or mouse sack or mouse trap.
He comes out.
He's chained up. He's on the ground.
Yeah.
And they've clearly taken him to be used somehow.
One of the things that's creepy about the doppler is the doppler doesn't say him. He talks about people as objects. He's like, you want us, because he's like kind of schizophrenic. He talks about himself as we were going to have this appearance for a while. It was our favorite or something like that. And then when he obviously is supposed to impersonate Mousetrap or whatever, he's like, you want us to look like this one, not him. It's like very dehumanizing or
it's very cool because that's how
he's
some
super
weird
creepy
thing would be acting, right?
He's actually super creepy, and outside of the Geralt Yen stuff, he's the highlight. Yeah, he's really good.
They unchain him, and they go run.
Yeah,
and he tries to get up. Obviously, he's like stumbling a couple of times.
Probably got a numb leg.
Exactly. After a while, he does start to run, but the doppelganger chases him down and pushes him to the ground, grabs him by the chest, and in like a nightmare.
This slow stab.
Well, first of all, he changes in front of him, and it's like his face is like transforming. And
his eyes go like the white grey, the dead grey.
Imagine someone holding you and doing that in front of your face. You're like, oh, it's gonna consume my soul. Okay, it just changed to me. That's weird. Okay. Oh, you're a doppelganger. Okay.
Doppler, brother. Doppelganger is someone that looks like you.
My apologies. I wrote that down, doppelganger. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And then he goes. Afterwards, the ballsack Nilfgaard guy comes along.
He says, so there's a couple of things the Doppler says.
Yes.
He says, everything you've ever done and ever experienced is ours now. We know it.
Yeah.
Which immediately I had a question about, like, if he knows all of his magic training, is he not now a wizard? Can he not do magic? Like, that's a weird one, which they never touch. It just occurred to me. 2, nightmare fuel. Looking like him, rough.
Yeah.
Knowing everything he knew and, like, all of his experiences and stuff, not fair.
Yeah,
I mean, we know this from the games and the books that is part of their thing, but it's nightmare fuel. And then what does creepy Nilfgaard guy say? He comes and says something dumb.
I think they were talking about Ciri, and it's like she will. You'll never find. It starts talking about you don't know her power. You don't know.
Yeah,
what she
he does
is.
do that. Although you'd think now the Doppler does if he knows everything. Exactly. It's a bit weird. They say some creepy stuff though. Like the guy says, the Doppler says, "Oh, I know everything about you, including you tried to take your life today, but didn't." And the guy says, I didn't want to be abused. And he says, no, he didn't want to be used for this.
All right.
And then he shanks the guy. He takes so much time.
So slow.
It's so much worse than just murdering this guy.
Yeah. I'm almost like, you can hear some of like the usual like liquid sounds like, like that. And I'm like, oh, I can feel it going in my chest.
Also, there's that bit where he's pushing against like his sternum, and then you can tell there's a bit where it gets past it and it goes further in, and then like it's a very well done scene. It's super creepy. I didn't like it. I don't like watching that. Like we've seen how many people get killed in this.
Yeah, never.
That was way worse than like the Blaviken thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate how good it is. I hated watching it because it's so creepy, and he's such an awful. He's such a great villain.
Great villain, but awful.
Right. And then he gets told to frick off and find Ciri.
Yeah, he says, bring the girl alive. And he goes, that will cost you extra because children is our favourite. Children are our favourite, he says. Like, nonce fucking.
Mate, well, no, he's a child serial killer or something. It's so weird, man. It's so weird.
We then cut to Yennefer in an hourglass shop.
Yeah, I was wondering about this. And
she's probably like shopping as well. And it's like, it's another hourglass.
Yeah. It does hourglass stuff.
And then the next one, that's another hourglass.
Also an hourglass, crazily enough. And she's talking to the guy, and he reveals some stuff about like, mages like us that aren't part of the council, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm looking at this guy speaking, and I'm thinking, for a mage as powerful as you claim to be, because it's clear she's trying to reverse something.
Yeah.
Can't afford a toothbrush?
Nah.
He's...
Them choppers... They ain't that good.
Yeah.
It's like that guy we saw telling the story, the kid, the one that was dying with the
oh, yeah.
Awful, just awful stuff. Anyway, it then cuts to basically talking about how Yennefer's using her powers to make, she can use her powers to make money.
Yeah.
And then we cut immediately to her in her town where she's doing exactly that.
Selling bonus spells.
I was going to say she was making money for favors using her magic. She gave a guy a boner, which is hardly magic, looking like her.
Exactly. It's not a huge...
Just saying, I could have done that. I don't want to do that.
Well, if you look like Yennefer, you probably could.
Exactly. If I look like Yennefer, I could easily do that.
Right.
So
I will say, for anybody watching, from like hypothetically Disney, that's how you do a boner joke.
Not bring in a beloved name and character and then call him boner.
And basically, there are only two things that are consistent across any universe in any world: death and taxes.
Yes.
And the taxman cometh.
The taxman cometh, and he comes to collect. It's like, you're in my town, and you're doing this. He's the mayor and his bodyguard, I guess. Something.
By the
like
way, I didn't clock it the first time because I forgot about the mind reading thing. But she calls him out for being as gay.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that. I thought she was calling him, like making
making fun of him, like trying to like get to him or get
like she was just trying to dress him down.
Right.
But she's actually saying, she's reading his mind and saying, you know, she puts her hands up to get arrested and she goes, "Oh, I thought you were like, what did she say, like your tastes ran a different direction."
Yeah.
And actually what she's doing is reading him to see what she can use, and realizing that seducing this guy isn't going to work because he's gay and he likes his henchman guy, which I didn't clock the first time. And I'm like, oh wow, that's much better writing than I thought the first time. We're
noticing a lot more on the second run. It's good that we did this. We then cut to the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Forest.
That's right. Noin,
where the women are discussing whether or not they should bring Ciri into the tribe in the forest. One woman randomly brings the head of two Nilfgaard spies and just pops them down like nothing.
Which, by the way, we'll find out in about 3 seconds that Ciri's also here.
Yes.
There's just two heads.
Just chilling. Don't worry about it. Little kid will scar her for life. Don't worry about that.
It's cool.
And one of the women is really like adamant. It's like, no, we should not let her in. She's not part of the tribe. And the other one is like, we can't
trust her, and she has too much power. She lied about why she was here and who she was. So, like, we can't trust what she's saying. It's something along those lines.
And then the other one just sort of forces her hand. She's just sort of like, Ciri will stay with us in the tribe. And the other bitch is like...
And storms off. Well, wouldn't you? You're like, at least let's talk this over.
Why did we have this council then? What's the point?
You just decided.
Anyway. But they also say she will stay here, but Ciri must decide for herself. At the end of the day, it's her choice at the end of the day. We then cut to Jeskir and Geralt.
Yeah.
By the...
So it's weird because Geralt is like fishing with a kind of fishing.
Yeah, they're by a lake and he's fishing.
And Jaskier arrives and he says, "Geralt, my old friend," or something like that, indicating that they weren't here together.
Yes.
He heard that famous Witcher was here and came and found him because he knows Geralt.
And he says, like, how long has it been? Is it like months, days, weeks? I've lost count. And I'm like, so you guys weren't together?
Right. And later on he says something like, is it going to take another decade of friendship to... By the way, Jaskier ages way better than he should if he's a decade older, because Geralt is supposed to basically not age. So is Yen.
He basically found a djinn before.
Right.
So I'm not aging. That's it.
And basically Geralt says he's always mean to Jaskier. And it's weird. And he's like, I can't sleep.
Yes.
So I am fishing.
So you're fishing? He's like, what are you fishing for? Carp, cod, this, that? He's like, for a djinn. I know it's in this lake. I can't fucking sleep. And he really snaps with him.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's what lack of sleep does. Is that what that does?
I mean, not to me.
Oh, okay.
But I have had less sleep than Geralt of Rivia, I'm telling you. I don't care if he's 90 years old. I've had more sleepless nights. One thing, it's not important, but I would have liked to have known how he knew this tiny little bottle was in this lake. Like,
I would like to know that as well.
He's a Witcher.
He can believe. Says it. It's like, it's in this lake somewhere.
I can believe he would come by that information. He runs in the right circles for that. But how? How about I rescued a wizard who told me, or I rescued a guy that heard this legend and I'm looking for it. Something, you know. And he's throwing out the net. A great line. Jaskier is asking, like, well, what do you think of my singing? Because they've been talking about it. And Geralt, for a guy that can say fuck, for a guy that can swear, delivers the most atrocious beating with his words.
Yes.
It's like your singing is like ordering a pie and finding it has no filling.
He's like,
You need a nap.
You need a nap, okay?
But that is savage, though.
That was quite savage, that line right there. Especially because it's his whole life, isn't it? Like
Right,
singing
right.
and whatnot. Anyway, he pulls the djinn out of the water and they grab it and they see it's got the wizard seal on it.
Yeah.
So they know it's something magical in there. They know it's the djinn. Geralt grabs it from the top where the seal is and Jaskier grabs it from the handle. And he's like, no, give it to me. He's like, no, I want it. I want to have the wishes. Pops open.
Yeah.
And then you see like everything gets dark and a huge gust of wind from somewhere. And they're like, oh shit, the seal's broken. The djinn must be out.
Jaskier starts mouthing off, by the way.
Straight away, busting out 2 wishes. He's like, first of all...
Before he starts this whole tirade like, Djinn, I am thy master and I command thee. Like, wait, hold on, Jaskier.
Hold up now.
Also, like, his wishes are weird.
Yeah. They're like, I want the specific person to drop dead.
Yeah.
And I want one woman to welcome me back into her arms with glee. And I'm like,
Maybe
this is all you could imagine.
Power.
No. Riches? Nah, don't worry about that. That's all pointless.
True love? No.
I just want one guy to die and to bang this woman constantly. Right. Done.
Who is it? Just an ex? Like, you've already been here.
You know what you're getting. You could pick someone better.
And how does this exactly happen? Because in the first time, I remember Geralt actually saying, oh, shut up.
Yes.
But I didn't hear it this time.
Yeah, I actually missed this part as well. I don't understand how it happened because all we do notice is that when he's going to pick up the pieces, he says something and then he gets the one cut on his arm to indicate one wish has been taken.
And it looks like, because he's picking up the china thing and he's holding it in a weird way and it looks like he could well have cut himself, yeah. So it's weird, but at least in the version, the first time, I remember him saying, oh, shut up, or I wish you'd be quiet, something like that.
Yeah.
And then Jaskier starts like cart mouthing, and spitting blood.
And it's very dire. And he then later on goes to take him away somewhere. We then cut to...
I think it's in the tent.
Oh wait, yeah, we go there. So he takes him straight away to a tent nearby. And
that's one thing
in there.
I just realised. One of the reasons I like this episode, it feels so much better, is there's a lot less cutting in this episode. We stay with the characters just a little bit more.
But it's because I think they've forgone the time jumping thing now.
Yeah, like, everybody's sort of sunk up.
We've let it now. We understand this is a time jumping thing. We don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah, we're synced. It's all in sync.
Synced up. They're in synced. There we go. That's what it is. Yeah, so they go to this tent. There is a healer there. The healer's like, oh my god, this is a magical. This requires a magical remedy because this.
I can soothe the pain, but
exactly. But I'll give him a couple of hours, but then that's it. Like he'll die. Like you need to take him to someone who understands better. A mage. It's like, is there no mage here? And he like takes a bit of time. He's like, I was tasked with bringing one mage to justice, and she's now locked in the mayor's house.
Yeah.
And he takes so long to say it, and it's just sort of like, what the... Hurry the fuck up. We're on a time crunch here.
He's like, there is one, but the mage... And he always says the mage. Yes. So he gives as little information as possible, including the mage's gender. Yeah. He says the mage is capricious and evil or something like that and won't help you. You should go somewhere else. Yeah. And Geralt doesn't have time, so he goes to find the mayor's house.
Yes. In the meantime, we cut to Yennefer.
Yeah, and Madam Lady has come to visit.
Mother Miranda's come to visit.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has come to visit and is warning her actions. Apparently, is drawing attention from like the other mages in the other court, and,
the council and stuff.
And says that she essentially has a couple of words with her, tries to get through to her, and offers her a clean slate. It's like, you can come back. You can come back to Aretusa and you can
Hogwarts
teach.
Will accept you back. Come teach Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Exactly, yeah. You have to make do with Slytherin and stuff like that, but don't worry about it. If you come back, you can teach the new generation. You birth the new generation of mages and wizards and witches. This could be your job, and everything will be forgotten with the council. And she takes that as almost like she turns everything on its back, everything into an insult, and everything to, this is an ulterior motive. It's like, the great, I don't know her name,
Madam Lady
is asking for my help. Is that right? And it's like, she's like, only you could take a lifeline and turn it into,
and act like you're saving me.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting for Yennefer's character because Yennefer isn't ever exactly wrong, but she's also never exactly right.
Yeah.
And in both the game and the books, she is quite manipulative, although she's been trained to be. Her purpose, the purpose of making the mages, is to make them political animals and manipulate courts and kingdoms into the action that they want, right? So that's what she's supposed to be. But it's also interesting that she's like, you know, you only want me to succeed as long as it's like, as long as you can take credit for it.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm going out on my own. And she says something like, what more could you want? Everything. I want everything. So she's kind of obsessed by power, like when she was a piglet.
Yeah.
But also she wants
a baby.
She wants a baby. And here's what I do like is she says, or maybe I misunderstood it the first time, but she says, you knew the price of Ascension or whatever. And she says, yeah, but I didn't know what it would mean to me.
Yes, that's what she says.
And that's about, in my head, she was like, it was, she's trying to get back what was taken from her. I think she says that in the Dragon episode, actually. I want to get back what they took from me,
right?
Which I hate.
Because you chose to do that.
Because she 100% knew the cost and she went in and chose to do it. I don't mind that she's like, I gave it up I knew what I was giving up. I didn't realize how much I would miss it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I made a mistake, but I have power. I want to keep power. I want to have everything. I want to have my power. I want to have my cake and eat it too. Yeah. That I like for Yennefer. I hate the idea that something was taken from her. She went for it, you know, and now she's trying to correct it again herself. This is a genuinely strong character who, instead of complaining about it, goes to attempt to fix it by gaining even more power off the strength of her own back, which I love. You know, like she goes after a thing that can grant wishes.
Yeah.
That's how strong she is. She intends to, like, basically consume its power. Like, she's a freaking boss.
Yeah.
And then one episode later, she's like, oh no, it's taken from me. That's not freaking Yennefer. Anyway, I like her in this. She's good.
And then we cut to Geralt, who goes to the mayor's house and walks in, and
he gets to the place.
Yes.
And the bald dude is like, I'm not sure what accent this is, and no one else has this accent. Give me money and I'll tell you if at the mayor's house. And he's like, oh yeah, money, and knocks him out, and it's very satisfying.
He pulls out his sack.
He does, it's a hefty sack.
Sack of money, and he goes, oh, coin, eh? Dunk, smacks him around the head. Oh, it turns out coin does open doors.
That's very good.
And he walks in with Jeskir. Jeskir's like got this swollen neck.
Yeah, he has him over his shoulder as well.
His swollen neck, and he puts him down on one of the tables, and he looks around, and the mayor is there, completely butt naked.
Yeah. And very confused.
Very confused. He starts talking about apple juice. She wants apple juice. Must give her the apple juice.
And then just takes a nap.
Takes a nap, and he's like, great. Anyway, Geralt picks up the apple juice, and he goes around the corner, opens up one of the doors, and there's like fog all over the floor. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. There's something about the way Henry Cavill delivers his fucks.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So great.
It's so good. And I guess he follows the fog.
Follows the fog. Sees one door, opens it up, and it's the most amazing party ever.
It's like an orgy or something.
It's heaven. That's what it is. And at the end of the room, we see Yennefer with her black little mask, a little lace mask.
She looks great.
She looks fantastic, just sitting there drinking away. And Geralt puts Jeskir down next to one of the naked women.
Yeah.
Starts rubbing his face. Now Jeskir, poor Jeskir, guy's dying. He would love to be in this situation.
For a guy who's who's a manho.
Yes.
This one I understand, but waking up later on, why is he having that reaction? I don't get it. Anyway, he comes up to Yen.
Yes. Apple juice.
Have your apple juice.
So I brought you apple juice and much more. I see.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I see what she's looking at. I think I know what she's looking at.
She has some very interesting lines here. Like,
yes.
Geralt is sort of saying like, I need your help for this thing, and then she says like she's curious, and then they can indulge your curiosity. And then as he's saying that, she's like, your heart beats incredibly slow.
Yeah.
And it's like she's listening, but everything she says is more of her own internal dialogue.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's weird. It's very cool. And then what exactly happens?
So she's all about that Geralt arse, and she's asking questions. She's finding out what's going on, and then she finds out that it's a djinn that caused this thing to Jeskia. She turns around for a second, has a moment to think, and then immediately she says,
"Ragamuffin,
ragamuffin," and everyone snaps out of the trance, and they're like, "Oh my god! What's going on? What are we doing here?" Right. Covering up, and I'm like, "Hey, don't stop me! Why'd you
come on, guys? Also, why did you have to chill the party? Come on, man!"
And then they all start getting out of there. They push Jeskia off. Jeskia probably like boom, to the side. Bless him, coughing up blood while he's doing it. The guy hasn't had enough. And they all disperse. Geralt waits outside. And apparently Yen takes Jeskia to put him into a healing sleep.
Yeah.
How long will it take? As long as it needs to take. You know, it's just how it's going to work.
Which is a perfectly fine answer. Like, even, like, look, oh, here's my freaking download counter. Or, like, it's magic. It works when it works. Yeah. You know, like, that's probably makes sense. And then she says to Geralt, "You need to take a bath."
Yes.
Another very good insult here. Do you have it written down?
Go on.
Oh, she says,
horse.
"Yeah, I can not only smell the age and breed of your horse, I can not only tell the age and breed of your horse, but also its color by the smell."
I had it down here. Do you know what? Not that line, but I had it down here. Yen says to Geralt, he needs a bath. He absolutely must get naked very, very soon. It's a life and death situation. Geralt, you must get naked.
It's part of the spell, yeah. If you want to save your friend.
Exactly. To save your friend, you must get naked now. That's what I took from this whole situation. Anyway, next is the famous Geralt bath scene. He's sitting in the bath, goddamn pecs, goddamn shoulders, many, many mounts of whipped cream I would lick off that body. Just fantastic.
I'm just saying, look, of the two, she's the one that's punching.
Yeah. She's like, maybe if I can land me a Geralt.
He's damn fine.
Maybe if I can land me a Geralt of Rivia.
It's quite interesting because he's a very interesting person to her.
Yes.
I can't remember if it's before or after, but she asked questions like, what little magic tricks can you do? She's curious about the magic that they know, like the hand signs, which is simple because it's combat magic. That's the main point.
Yes.
And as he's in the bath, he knows she's looking at him and says, you know, go on, you can ask about them. Everybody does. Yeah. And
she's like, that's boring.
That's the thing. It's funny because he totally caught her wondering. She wants to know, but she doesn't want to be like everybody else. So she says, oh, it's boring. And
I don't think like that. That's not what I think because I'm not like other people.
So she gets in the bath. Which this, by the way, is about as like sexy as it gets. Yeah. But again, it's quite good where she's like, turn around, and then he looks in the mirror and she flips around. That's cheating. There is one thing, and I want to know if anybody else who watched it got this. As she gets in, there's a giant scar on his back, which has puncture wounds.
It looks like a bite.
I'm pretty sure that it's a pitchfork from the books. In one of the books, Geralt is stabbed through by some villagers that don't want to pay him and killed. Like, he dies. So Geralt is one of a few people that we know from, like, the books who has died previously and is now alive again. And I'm pretty sure that's the pitchfork. That's the pitchfork scar. I want to know if anybody else noticed it, and because it's this big scar that runs across, like, the back of his ribs, but I'm pretty sure... I actually went back and watched it a couple of times, and I couldn't quite tell, but there looks to be like 3 like
interesting. I'm gonna have a look at that. I remember seeing 2 sort of like almost like a mouth like of that.
Oh, it might be.
I don't know if I saw wrong or if you saw wrong.
I don't know, but I even saw my chick was like, "Why are you so excited?" I'm like, "I think that's a pitchfork." What the fuck?
I think I see Geralt nipple. 1 second.
Imagine this chick's naked. Who cares about the chick? We got Henry Cavill here.
Is that his thing floating in the water? 1 second, I need to see.
I think I see dong reflected on the water.
So Jesus, you're always doing this. Anyway, they have some conversations. Yeah. And she's getting seriously flirty. With Geralt. It gets to a point where he gets out of the tub and he goes and gets dressed and he goes to look at Jeskia, and she's like, "What? You doubting my abilities?" Like, he's like, "No, I'm doubting your intentions."
It's funny as well. She finds that really endearing. She's like, at least he's honest.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah,
Because she has a...
immediately it's like he's right, because she's planning on catching the djinn.
Yeah, so
she sees the wizard's seal on the floor,
and
like a seance sort of thing.
And for comparison, that seal is on the side where she's obviously copied it, right? And she wants to bind the djinn.
Yeah. Her whole plan is so she can like try and absorb it, so she can absorb its power. And
yes,
it's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea.
Yeah.
She then goes over to like her little workstation.
Her makeup station.
Her powder area.
This is now a YouTube get ready with me makeup tutorial.
That's what it is. And she applies some like perfumes and stuff like that. And Geralt randomly is like, that scent. He's really like blown back. Yeah. It's like it's lilacs, and they both say gooseberries.
One of the things, I don't know if it's intended to be this way, but I feel like if you're going to use magic to entrap somebody who's resistant to it, you would use something where their heightened senses are more susceptible to it. We know that Geralt can smell what that weird wizard was doing in that bed.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use magic smells, that's probably the way in, right?
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
I don't know if that's what the scene was intended to convey.
You think maybe she knew or maybe she didn't know, and it's just like...
I don't know, but I like the fact that he goes under because... He's Wolverine. He's got Wolverine senses, you know.
It would affect him more.
Right.
He's so sensitive.
How bad do you think Wolverine's hay fever is?
Awful,
right?
Terrible. So he gets taken by a spell, and he just wakes up. Everything goes black.
Yeah,
and then he wakes up in prison.
Yeah.
And apparently he was very busy.
Oh, well, the other guy was there. That elf dude. Yeah.
He's locked up with the medical elf guy, and he's like, what did I do? What happened? And he's like, oh, where to begin? You took this guy outside and you spanked him in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You did this. You did
beat
that.
up this guy. You assaulted that
person.
Kicked
this guy in the balls, and it's like, I was like, okay, interesting.
Oh, and by the way, those people are all on the council, and they're the guys deciding our fate because I found you and tried to intervene, and the guards assumed I was helping you.
Yeah. That's what they assumed right there. Then we cut back to Yen, and she's touching herself at the foot of Jeskier's bed.
She's just sitting there naked, isn't she? She's like in a trance.
To be honest, she's sitting there half naked, and she's touching low down. I was just made.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's like drawing, like almost magical tattoos appear of like exactly what she wants back: a womb, a uterus.
Printed on her.
I don't know what that thing is.
Just directions down this way.
Yeah, I want you to see it, not in the chest.
No, go ahead. These are fine. These are cool.
All right, these are fine. Down there.
And Jeskier wakes up right at that moment, and immediately, like you said, there's a reaction, like.
Well, he says something like, "Oh no, I didn't butter that biscuit."
Yeah.
Or something like,
I'm like, what's wrong with that?
What, Jeskier, please.
Come on, man. And he's really terrible. Jeskier wakes up and she threatens him.
Yeah, she intimidates him into using his last wish.
Yes, like use your last wish.
Oh, and she totally forgot. She knows it's the last wish because while she's speaking to Geralt, she says, "How many bards did? How many wishes did the bard express?" And Geralt lets on. He says, you want him to use his last wish."
Yeah.
So he has one left.
Yeah.
Right. That's how she knows. Yeah.
So use your last wish, or off goes the sausage. She doesn't say that, but she's holding this sausage in his hand, got a knife. You can only assume what's going to happen. Jeskier's oh, I think he starts singing as well. It's like, use your voice. Toss a coin.
What's funny?
To your
toss a coin to
your penis.
What's funny to me as well is Yennefer going for a knife when she's literally one of the most powerful beings on the planet.
She just needs to be like, penis there.
Right, exactly.
Go on.
Like, she throws people with her mind. She can summon and throw lightning. She can do it, but she can teleport people. She could, but like Portal, but it's for your dick.
Exactly.
Zip, zip. Oh god, no!
It's all gone.
But I love that she grabs like an apple knife or something. You know.
And then and then bam, we get back to Geralt. He's being tortured in the prison by that one
bald
bodyguard guy.
Yeah. Who says some really creepy stuff, like really, really pervy, rapey stuff. It's like, I've always wanted to play with a Witcher.
Yeah, the fuck, bruv? What the hell is this all about?
Also,
this has been your one fantasy?
Like, anyone can torture a Witcher in chains. like he acts. He's like, oh, I'm really tough. I could beat a Witcher,
Powerful,
but instead I'm just gonna like perv over you while you're.
Yeah.
In fairness, I'd perv over Henry Cavill in chains, but like I wouldn't make like I'm awesome about it. But like, sorry, Henry, it's got to be done.
Slave Geralt. Like
I want to see
Leia.
some R34 of Geralt in the or Henry Cavill in the slave Leia outfit.
That's it. That muscular piece of ass.
I'm googling it in
Go on,
incognito.
it has to be a thing. And Geralt says, after a bit of torturing, after a bit of back and forth, Geralt says that he wants this guy that's torturing him to burst.
Yeah, he says, "What do you want, Witcher?" or something. And he says, "I want you to burst, you overgrown something else."
And then all of a sudden, and his head explodes.
He bursts
all over the elf.
All over the elf. It reminds me of that scene from Big Trouble in Little China. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Anybody that's seen it will know.
Is it bad?
It's awful, but it's the best kind of awful.
Okay. And bam, and he realizes.
I've got some sad news.
He looks at his arm.
A second cut.
He realizes he's the one that had the wishes.
Yeah.
On,
also, he does say some kind of sweet things. Like when he comes up to visit Jaskier, he says to Yen, like, "These, I said some really unkind things to him. I don't want those to be the last things he hears."
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, but you won't remember if he's dead." It's like, that's not the point.
Right. The point is that although he's not been a great guy to him, he's an abrasive figure. And in the books as well, like, you know, the reason he speaks the way he's described as being not easy to be around. You know, witches have like almost an aura of you don't want to get close to them. It's kind of because they're mutants and magical and shit.
Right.
Anyway, the sad news, unfortunately, that very specific Henry Cavill and Slave Leia costume throws no R34 up there. So it's on you, art guys. We need you to pull together so we can all pull together.
I'll say
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Zahir's really good at drawing. Maybe he'll do something for us.
I've lost track. Next? I was just thinking of Henry Cavill in a Slave Leia costume.
No. Oh, okay. So we cut back to Yen, and she's calling the djinn. She's calling it into the room while Jaskier gives his last wish, even though he hasn't got a wish. Yeah.
But it's not weakening.
It's not weakening. She manages to call it into the room, and Jaskier leaves. He just ducks out of there. He's like, "I'm out of this shit. Fuck this crap." He gets downstairs and he sees Geralt. He's like, "Oh, Geralt, you're here."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay." It's like, "Oh, so you seem pretty nice." So I'm like, "Well, what, did you care about me or something?" I said, "Of course not." And then Geralt finds out from Jaskier that Yen is up there trying to do some magical, crazy stuff up there, and he deduces exactly what's going on. She's trying to contain the djinn, but the djinn's way too powerful.
He says she wants to become the vessel.
The vessel. That's
so what I took from that was if the djinn's, if she's containing the djinn, then she can use its power without having to be limited to the 3 wishes.
Yeah,
that's the way I took it.
But I guess it doesn't work like that if it's still bound to somebody, right?
Yeah, so like because it has a master...
Right, it can't be done that way.
Yeah, it's not like free to be... It's like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's in a Pokeball, right? You can't catch somebody else's Pokemon.
I love how we nerded that out right there.
Yeah, we got even nerdier than The Witcher.
Anyway, but Geralt, knowing this information, can't leave her. He can't just leave her behind and
just to save
her kill herself, so he goes up there.
We also alluded to the fact from the jail that he's kind of like... Forgive me, but like fallen under her spell. Like he's kind of like fallen in love with her.
Yeah. Jaskier says one funny thing here. He goes, "Leave the very sexy but insane witch to her inevitable demise." Yeah. And he just pushes him out of the way and he goes in.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. But he can't because obviously he has to try and stop anything that he sees because he is a good guy at heart. To let so he goes upstairs and he sees what's happening. Yennefer is really struggling to keep this thing in.
It's not weakening.
Her stomach is like popping out at some points. It's like it's not weakening.
She's trying
it's getting stronger.
I guess that's where she's trying to put it.
Yeah.
And it's getting stronger because it's getting angrier.
Yeah.
And then Geralt, the bard didn't have the last wish. I did.
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, make the wish and I'll capture it."
It's like, let it go and I'll give you my wish. And she sort of takes that, I guess, in her rage at that time. She's like, "Oh, so I'm going to be under your control. I'll owe you something for what has happened." And he's like, "Oh, fucking, I'm not trying to do that."
Which I'm okay with this for Yennefer. Like, you know what she said with Madam Lady?
Yeah.
Is that now that she has the power, the whole reason she sought power was so that she was never dependent on anyone else.
Yeah.
And that idea of dependency, or that fear of being dependent on anyone else for her protection, for her meals, for anything is like her number one fear almost.
Yeah.
And so she'd rather like maybe almost die trying to contain something with her own strength than ever be dependent on Geralt. Like once this thing is gone, if Geralt doesn't do what he says,
Yeah.
you know, she's lost her chance. So, you know, I'm cool with it, but it is also like, I'm the genie's master. What do you want?
Yeah.
And then also, thanks for the very specific answer, everything.
Yeah.
Typical woman.
Typical woman. Nothing's good enough. Everything has to be there. And even then she'll be like, nah, not good enough. Anyway, everything starts to escalate even further. Her eyes go red. She goes far back. It looks like it's about to make her explode.
Oh, and she even says like you can have anything you want. You could choose not to be a witcher. You can have money, power, anything. Just make the wish, and he does make
he makes
a wish.
He's like, I wish, and then you can't hear the rest of whatever he's saying. He says something, and then boom,
the genie ducks out. Well,
the ceiling caves in, and then you just see the like grey smoke sort of thing fly out the top, and Yennefer's like, where is it? Where is it? And then even more of the ceiling starts to collapse on top of them, but it's almost like a magical collapsing and whatnot. It's almost like something gets pulled in like a singularity.
Yeah,
almost.
I wonder if the djinn wasn't like, yeah, I'm free. By the way, fuck you guys. And
like that. And then they're like, oh shit, they've been crushed by the house.
Yeah.
And downstairs, Jeskier's looking up with that elf guy, and they're like, no
one could survive that.
No one could survive that.
Jeskia starts like, I'm gonna write the greatest song
for my friend Geralt.
Yeah,
I must do this. And the djinn escapes, and also
the djinn escapes. They do argue. I feel like in the room before it collapsed, they argue. But she says, "You let it go. Do you have any idea how much havoc it will wreak?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "They're not evil unless they're contained." She's like, "Blah blah. You know, you don't know that. You don't know anything. Keep telling me how things are." And he's like, "When did you ever feel happy when you were trapped?"
Yeah.
Which also she's kind of trapped by the Mage Council. She's trapped by her own desires and all this stuff. It's like a great big metaphor for her life. And she's like, "That's a really good point." Shit starts to fall on them.
I think that happens afterwards, but it doesn't matter when it happens. Because I think after that point, so what happens is they magically appear downstairs in that room where the orgy was happening. And then they have their argument. And
also he says, well, if you could have pulled us anywhere on the continent, why did you pull us downstairs? Take us somewhere that doesn't suck.
Take us out of this shithole. And they have their argument, and they're looking at each other. And then bang, they just start going at it.
I mean, look, any excuse to get on Henry Cavill. Telling me you wouldn't go for the kiss?
I'd go for it. Guilty right here. And they start banging hard.
They do. Elf guy is like walking around, spots them through a window.
And he sees, and it's like, they're alive. And he goes back to tell Jeskia, and just see that they're alive.
No one could survive that. He comes over, has a look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He says,
bollocks. Oh yeah, because that was going to be his like inspiration.
That was going to be what puts him on the map.
Damn it.
And then he sees, and then they both look.
They're very alive.
Ooh, they're very alive. Hey, they're very alive right there. And then that's that. We then cut to the Brooklyn Forest for our last scene.
No.
Oh, sorry?
There's one thing again with Yen and Geralt before that.
Oh yeah,
they finish whatever they do, their special cuddles.
Yes.
And they have a slight little discussion, and finally Yen says, "What did you wish for?" And looks over to him, and in our perfect circle, he's finally been able to sleep.
Exactly.
Interestingly, though, so like I take it the reason he couldn't sleep is his destiny's calling to him, right? And by not going towards his destiny, because he's specifically avoiding ever going back to Sintra, that's causing tension in his life. He's feeling the pull of destiny, he's against it, all that shit. But Yen's also kind of his destiny.
Yep.
So destiny is like chill for a bit, and Yennefer is finally the thing that can make him sleep. It's kind of this cool little cycle.
It's a nice thing, actually. Nice way of looking at that there.
And then we cut to, where was it?
The Brooklyn Forest.
Nine.
Brooklyn Forest, and they're all ready. They're like shooting arrows at this one gap, but it's Mousesack. And he calls, apparently, he's like, I'm here for the girl.
Yeah, Mousetrap's outside like a garden hedge, and outside it's snowy and inside it's summer again, which how does that work?
I mean, it's just 2 seasons, 2 different areas.
At least At least
it's the equator.
that's it. Winter, summer.
There you go.
At least here, though, when we're with the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that the sun is always shining, but at least it's not backlighting every single shot.
Yes.
And it doesn't move depending on where the dryads are standing. Yeah.
Yes. He goes through and he sees the one that had a problem with Ciri staying here, and she takes him over to the other main woman and to Ciri as well. And Ciri sees the mouse like, oh my god, I can't believe you're here, and explains that he's been with her since birth, been known her forever.
If there's one guy she can trust,
exactly.
It's Mousetrap.
And apparently she's been briefed, the one in the back, apparently, about what's going on. It's like, I will take you to where you need to go. I'll take you to Geralt of Rivia. Apparently Geralt of Rivia has been promised to her by the Law of Surprise. And the other woman's like, crap, this is like important stuff right here. Apparently everyone in the world knows about the
Dryad leader lady suddenly changes character entirely, starts giving Ciri all this weird, out-of-place, overacted advice, and is suddenly terribly sad to see her go.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. And then she goes up to Mousetrap, who's saying some very, cryptic things. He doesn't ever actually say anything in detail if you watch this scene again. And the best thing, and one of the things that makes him such a great actor, is I feel like this is the doppler, not that Mousetrap guy.
Yeah.
Because especially when he turns around, his warm, trusting face, slack, psycho killer, and then he walks in that kind of swaying motion.
It does seem human almost.
It's really good. He and the guy who played this doppler character before were both brilliant
in the same room they're practicing.
They were both brilliant as this doppler. It was really good and very creepy. Jesus Christ.
And then that's the end of the episode. And that's it. So episode 5.
That's it.
Can't wait to see what's going to happen in episode 6. Probably great stuff.
Definitely great stuff. I am glad that we're finally out of the weird time thing, at least for this episode. I think it's the 7th or 8th. It might be both of those.
There is one bit back
where
there.
It gets a bit time weirdly again. But for the next episode or two, we're good with time stuff.
Exactly. And then the next episode, we're going to do one more episode. And then it's 7 and 8 we're doing together. Yeah. So the next week is one episode, the week after a double episode. Okay.
That's right.
And then we're going to go on to Loki, son.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, we'll kick it over to some of our boys over on the Discord server. Who've written in to talk about their stuff right here. Starting off with Car56, who wrote in and said, I have to start with, what the fuck, Geralt? The bard singing is amazing. It's not like ordering a pie and finding it doesn't have any filling. The song is on repeat in my mind, so shut your freaking mouth. Good to see Geralt and Yennefer finally meet, even if she was a batshit crazy.
She was cray.
She was cray. And the djinn was a pretty cool monster, even if I can't spell it correctly.
Yeah, it's a weird word to spell.
Djinn.
Yeah, D-G-I-N-N.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's weird.
I mean, it's D-G-G-I-N, or is it Jinn, or is it Qui-Gon Jinn? Is it Jin Jajarian? Is it
Jar Jar Jinn?
Jar Jar Jinn? I just don't know. I feel the need to mention two things. One is that I've bought the game because of both of these shows, and the other thing is that I'm working on something to do with The Witcher.
Sick.
If it's done, it will be in Eddie's DM soon. Then hopefully I'll have it done by the finale. Yes, I know this was Diogo style. This was a Diogo style essay. It wasn't that long, don't worry.
I'm glad to hear that you bought. I hope The Witcher 3, because I haven't played the other games. I can't speak for them.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 is fantastic. Yeah. It meshes really well with this episode because there is, I believe it's a main story quest.
Yeah, Last Wish.
Yeah, The Last Wish, which is incredible. Took me a huge amount of time to get that far into the main quest line, but it's an incredible quest, and you get to pick what happens with Geralt and his life going forward. It's very cool.
Yes.
Great game. I'm glad we could be a part of someone else trying The Witcher 3. How cool is that, man? Someone's going to get to play The Witcher 3 because we made this show.
Yeah.
That's really
sick. Cool.
That's sick.
Our next comment is from our boy called Javi. He says, hey bros, if Eddie reads this, take your time. Don't hurry.
Oh, no.
Maybe even have Sheps read the topic. I feel like the time. So I feel like
you already started messing it up.
I feel like the take I'm going to present could be taken in a bad way if you don't include everything. Take the time for you.
Okay.
I just need to say one thing. There is no such thing as this show does it better than the book. The same counts for the game. The way it happens in the books is the only way it happens. The show can be different, more entertaining, or more compelling. It's not, however, valid to say it handles the story better than the books, because it's simply a different story. I've got an issue with people liking the show more, or even saying that it is better to them than the books, though I strongly disagree. But objectively, the books are canon, and the show is just someone else's take on it. If you have another opinion, I'm very interested to hear it.
It's probably some AC bullshit.
What's going on there? P.S. You guys should get a copy of the script or list names. You can't keep calling them random things like Mousetrack.
Listen, it's Mousetrap. We all know.
We will, okay?
It's Mousetrap and it's Madam Lady.
Yeah, Madam Lady.
And you tell me if there was any confusion. You knew exactly who we were talking about.
Exactly.
And that's the point of language.
PPS, Sheps, stop bad-mouthing the books, even though you don't remember them. This tomfoolery needs to stop. I demand the Combros book club so Sheps and Eddie, oh God, read the books properly.
So, I do remember the books. I'm not like a freaking encyclopedia. Secondly, we did have a book channel on the Discord, but some dickheads on the mod team decided it should go.
Good choice.
Because some of them can't read.
Good choice.
And thirdly, were we to do a book club, we would read good books. Now, the books are okay. Maybe I got a bad translation. The Last Wish, or The Wish.
The Wish.
Is one of the better ones, or better sections. I definitely read a collection of short stories and then one like standalone book. I forget what they were. Yes, I forget some stuff.
You forget? Really? No,
Believe it or not.
Don't know what it's all about.
But also, I think I agree and disagree with your point. I like the idea of viewing the games and the books and the shows as separate, but the idea that the books are full canon is not exactly realistic. If the game is the best selling thing and that's what most people have, when you talk about it, that's the thing people are going to reference the most, right? It becomes the canon, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't think of a good example, but it becomes the canon. The game is the canon. The show is great because we get to see extra stuff that leads up to the game that was based on books. Mm-hmm. But the game's the canon. The game's the thing that got The Witcher big, not the books.
Yeah.
When I say big, I mean like really big.
Reach the masses.
Yeah. So get fricked.
There we go.
Adam, the Ghost Simp, says, Cade Mill, Elder Speech for Greetings. What?
So I also looked down at the bottom and he says the same Vafali thing. Apparently it's Elder Speak for farewell.
It's in the freaking... I heard that in the game. I'm certain I did. Anyway, I second what Javi said about you two idiots needing a list of names for the characters and locations. Listen, we know the important ones. Geralt.
Exactly.
Everybody else is meh.
Exactly.
Is that person. It's almost painful listening to you two butchering every name in the show. You could just use the subtitles button on Netflix. Look, even if the subtitles on, and you do, she's still going to be Madam Lady.
Exactly. I love how this is like only affecting them now.
Yeah.
Ains wasn't bad enough, right? So all the other names weren't bad enough that we butchered. This is where the line was drawn.
Or you think it's because we just didn't hear the name? We just don't care. It's not Henry Cavill.
The only thing we care about is Henry Cavill's pecs.
It's true.
And
those
and
glorious pecs.
Exactly.
And look, at the end of the day, you know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. If you didn't know who we're talking about, it would be an issue, you know? Here's a short list of your lack of knowledge when it comes to names in the show. You got Brooklyn Nine-Nine Forest.
Yep. Granddad guy.
Oh, actually, no, this is actually what we've said. So we've called it Brooklyn Forest, Granddad Guy, Mousetrap or Crack, and Mother Miranda.
There we go.
In fairness, I've corrected it to Madam Lady.
Oh, it's true. You have corrected it to that. Yes.
And probably something he's forgetting. What Shep said about Yen's backstory not being book accurate last week is very true, but the rest of the show is also far from book accurate, and the games aren't book accurate either, nor are they supposed to be, since it's more of a what if continuation of the books. Okay. It's a bit difficult to be book accurate after a certain pitchfork. Aha! See, so I need to know if you saw that scar. So here's the deal. My biggest beef with it not being book accurate is Triss.
Yeah.
Triss not only doesn't look like she can.
She doesn't look hot enough to be Triss.
And not to be a dick, but like there's
issue.
supposed to be a love triangle between her and Yennefer and Geralt.
It's Geralt's preference. Get out of his face.
And also, the finale episode, there's the witches do some badass stuff.
Yes.
Yen is like a walking act of God. Not Yen. Triss is a walking act of God in that thing. Like it crafts legends and stuff. This is major. It's massive, and she's a baller. It's incredible.
She's a massive thing in the book.
It is incredible, and in this she falls over and grows some plants.
Yeah.
Like that is my biggest beef, because that's not the Triss that I know. The Triss that I know from the books and the game is a freaking badass, and this chick wants to save a guy's daughter and then do some gardening. It sucks.
I want to play the games again, man.
Wait for that update.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that update. Then we're both going to have to play them again, aren't we? And oh my god, the DLC. That's one of the things that made the game so good, because not only is the base game so good, but Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone, especially Blood of Wine, oh my god, so incredible. Like, what incredible games. Anyway, the games are canon, get fricked. Readings for idiots.
Fuck everyone else.
On to the actual episode. Why is the doppler here, and why does it talk like they're Gollum? Just to make him creepy. Also, Cahir still looks hideous in his armor. Oh, is that the guy's name, Cahir?
Yeah, the ballsack guy.
Yeah, cool. Ballsack guy looks hideous.
Yep.
The best part of the episode it might just be the money opens all doors scene, and Anya Chalotra's plot. I don't know who that is.
That's Yennefer, isn't it? Her actress.
Just say Yennefer, you freaking douche.
Isn't that
God damn it,
actress's
Adam.
name?
What's wrong with you? I'm just checking which Adam you are. Yeah, Adam, freaking... God damn it. Also, where's the part where Yen tells the djinn, get out of here and go fuck yourself? Does he do that in the book? I don't remember that.
No.
And the music's pretty good, as we all got to say, especially when Geralt and Yen are doing their thing. Yes.
What thing? This is a child show. You can't say.
Yeah, I don't know.
We haven't said anything bad up until now, so let's not say.
Do you know what I would love to see? You know,
Yeah.
the bath scene. I want to see the bath scene, but someone edit in like a rubber ducky. You know, I just think that I'd totally take the edge off the show.
Like, so we're not gonna have sex then, I guess, because you're playing with your duck. Oh, bro. Thank you, Adam, for writing in there. Thank you, everybody, for writing into the show and watching along with us. It's been awesome to see some of your tweets as well. Some people were tweeting us saying, like, I'm watching the show.
Yeah.
It's like, when's the next episode coming out? What's happening here? We have made one slight difference. It's not a huge thing. The episodes come out 2 hours later than normal at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Just to make things easier, upload-wise and stuff like that. But just a little bit of a delay.
And because we are multiple people working with other people, we all have different schedules and stuff, and pushing back the upload time a couple hours made more sense for everybody.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week for episode 6 of The Witcher.
That's right. And then the following week, a double episode, double part,
Exactly.
7 and 8 will wrap up the whole show.
And then we dive right into Loki.
We're diving in.
Right.
It's a good thing you did that. No one would know what diving is.
The audio listeners are going to love hearing that as well.
That's a good point. I forgot about those virgins.
Those virgins. All right, guys. We'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for tuning for another episode. Catch you in the next one, bro.
Yeah,
Va for Napoli.
no.